Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back, Saggies. All right, Sag, right after this, I will do Ophiuchus, and then we're going to go live and do some storytellings on both channels. So bear that in mind. Keep your notification bells turned on. I'll see you guys soon. But in the meantime, what is Saggie's adventure? By the way, this was a topic several of you had suggested and wanted. And so I was like, let's do an adventure series for kind of Halloween, since it's a good time for adventure and costume and fun. So we start out with an Eight of Swords, but then moving to a Five of Swords. It does look like Sagi's next adventure either shows them getting beyond some kind of hostility. If Sag had been stuck for a period of time, they felt like their luck had run out. It might have been that Sag was getting kind of pissy about this, or they had a fight or an argument. There could be somebody who was intentionally trying to like sabotage or create some kind of a blockage. I think Sag is about to have, sometimes when people try to hold us back, they don't know it, but they do us a favor. Sometimes when other people block us, and I'm thinking this is what could have happened, they don't realize it, but they can be an agent of change. Sometimes we don't realize it either, but again, it can be a wonderful situation. And I think Sag is about to find out why something happened to them. Why did I get blocked? Why did somebody Six of Swords? Definitely. Okay, I feel like, and I've had things like this happen in my own life. So something that was unfair, something that was intentionally done to foul me up. It turned out, it wasn't until years later that I was able to see it, but it turned out that played a very big role in something in my life where I almost am like, thank goodness for that person who tried to foul things up for me. And they did successfully foul up something major in my life. And yet many years later, I was like, it all turned out all right. So maybe even better. Maybe I can say thank you, universe, for the things that unfurl, even though we cannot see how it will be a benefit to us until maybe later. But I kind of feel like it's later is now for Sag. Yes, somebody tangled them up. Somebody that, I don't know if they were mad or something, and they posed some kind of a blockage. This could have been anything. This could be somebody that got mad, got jealous, imagined a slight that Sag didn't deal them, but they just imagined it anyway. And so they, in a petty, passive aggressive way, decided that they would, block some path of, Sag's growth. And it could have been frustrating, but this is Sag discovering, however slowly, or at least letting it go and saying, okay, so they successfully blocked that path for me. I can either sit around and be mad about it, or I can say, I don't know why this happened, but you know what? It didn't really stop me growing. I just have to grow in a different direction. And I think this is Sag allowing themselves to be like, think of an obstacle more as a maze where it's like, okay, that doorway isn't open. I just came up against a brick wall. So what does that mean? Well, in a maze, if you can't move forward that way, then you have to backtrack and go a different route. You just keep moving. You just can't go in the way that you thought you were going to. If you're driving down a street and they've got a detour, a roadblock, it sucks sometimes. It takes you longer, but you go around, you backtrack, you find another way to get to your destination. That's what it feels like. With the Seven of Swords in the reverse, I definitely feel like Sag is about to realize something happened that honestly, maybe whomever posed a blockage, and I do feel like this was after a fight or something ugly that occurred. It could have been with a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, could have been with a Leo, but whatever it was that blocked a pathway, it's like, oh my God, you know what? I was never supposed to go that way, and I actually knew it. So them blocking me was kind of a moot point, because deep down, I already knew I should let this one go. I should go in a different route. I shouldn't keep trying to work at a company that I don't even like the boss doesn't like me, or, whatever the scenario was. A lover that's not respecting me. This isn't a good place. I'm not growing. I'm not loved. I'm not comfortable. Then why the heck was I there anyway? But sometimes we don't see that until we walk away from it. We got the Three of Swords in the reverse. So fantastic, because we definitely have Sag coming into this realization. as they are letting go of like a hope, a wish, or a dream, or something that they thought they were going to do that they obviously aren't now. But as they let go of that, they're like, oh, you know what? This was all okay. I knew I shouldn't have gone that route anyway. I should never have picked that for myself. That's not where I belonged. That's not where I was going to flourish. That's not where my fertility was. Okay, fantastic. So as Sag moves on, what does that mean? Eight of Pentacles. Okay, number one, Sag did not lose any time. There was no real wasted time. In fact, whomever put up a huge roadblock, whatever person was, kind of aggro or, pissy or decided to sabotage something in Sag's life, so worth it, because Sag would have hemorrhaged their resources. Instead, they didn't lose anything. Sag didn't end up staying in a place for too long to the point where they lost a ton of their time or resources. I mean, time is a resource, and they might have stayed too long, because we did see that clock over here and that first card. But I will still say, ultimately, the saboteur saved Sag from like investing too much in a place that they shouldn't have. Sag still has all their resources and some more wisdom to boot. We have a Three of Pentacles. We have a Seven of Wands. We've got the Death card. Okay, so here's the moment that Sag's life takes that, that pivot, that turn. It's so much better. I know it's a tough thing when we're in the middle of getting sabotaged or feel like we can't move forward or feel like somebody's hurting our feelings. But when we let go of that, sometimes that's where we get all the wins. That's when our life starts to flow like water again. And it's like, why was I trying to get water out of an empty well? That was a dry well. There was no inspiration. Why was I trying to hold on to a job when it was obviously a place I didn't even enjoy being? I didn't have coworkers I liked. I didn't have a boss that I liked. I didn't like what I was doing. Why was I ever trying to cling to that? Of course I should have let it go, because holy smokes, everything's flowing now. My work somewhere else is being extremely well received. I feel like I'm on top of the world. I feel like all my problems are dissolving. And I feel like this was the path I was supposed to be on. This could begin with a work-related situation where it's like, I couldn't grow there. Maybe I even get fired, or maybe I get let go, or, I have to quit because they basically make it to where I can't survive working here. It cuts you down the hours to 2 hours a week or something. And then I just got to go. But here's a great thing. Even if that is the case, all it is that I think Sag was supposed to have more free time to do this other thing where they're very well received. But what comes along with that is companionship, friendship, support. All of a sudden, I think Sag is going to notice everything clicks into place. Things that they had trouble accessing before, they now will have like a new group of colleagues around them or friends around them where, these are joyful people laughing together, problem solving together. People with different skill sets, people that want to grow and build things. And I just feel like that's Sag's next adventure is, oh my God, every time I hit a roadblock, instead of realizing someone is intentionally creating the roadblock for me, now I have resources to turn to, people who will help me unblock roadblocks. This is a totally different group, different soul group, different path that I needed to be on. I think this is going to lead them to friendships as well. The Three of Pentacles is many things. It's working together. It's interacting together. Knight of Swords. And life keeps picking up. Hi, Christy. Hi, the Classic Slasher. Great to see you. Happy Halloween, you guys. Yeah, everything picks up pace really fast. So I do feel right now this is work-related and then morphing into better friendships, better colleagues, just a better soul group to spend time with. Okay. With the Three of Wands and the Ace of Wands, we also see, I want to just take this nice deep breath and say, oh, thank God. So Sag can see a future up ahead now. And they did not see that before. This was a very bogged down time or place for Sag to be for a while. Now that you start to get yourself away from people who would trip you up anyway, now that you start to have flow in your life again, you start to interact with people that are jolly and joyful. You start to have friends, companions. You have people that you can turn to with, ideas to bounce off of, and, figure out how to problem solve together. Life picks up pace. Now we've got Sag back to dreaming about what they want for their future. I think Sag was like in a dead end job with bitter people. If I were just going to be blunt about this, that's what it looks like. It was a bitter place to be, and it was seeping into other areas of life. It was just like, oh my God, this is so miserable. It's making me unhappy. And I know that this doesn't work for me. I'm not with the right soul group right now. And thankfully, the blockages became so insurmountable that Sag was kind of like either forced to, turn to the left and, do something different. They got pushed out. They did, but I think it was with the help of the universe. It wasn't like Sag just getting fired. It's that they were being liberated from a place that they were not supposed to be. And now I think Sag is like, wow, that was really soul crushing for a while. I forgot that I had other hopes and dreams, because those hopes and dreams, saving money, building, growing, having a 401k, thinking about a retirement, that wasn't even possible with that other place I was in. And I forgot. I've always had plans of saving some money, getting some time off, taking some travel, doing other things with my future, planning for my future. Well, I'm back to being able to do that. I got my present and my future back, all because somebody that was surly or bitter or unkind blocked me at every turn. Thank you. Thank you to the person that blocked me. Thank you to the surly and bitter that made it impossible for me to stay, because you got me back on my path that will take me to my future. I do think this might be a good day for Sag to really celebrate particularly I'll say the anti-heroes, the people in our life that they are the heroes of our life, but it's not because they were doing something nice for us. But it turns out their sabotage was the best thing that ever happened to us. That's the way I would describe this. So I think getting one's excitement back about the future, about all the things Sag can now do. I kept saying it's like life is flowing again. And sure enough, we have water on both of these cards. So I don't know if Sag is headed for some kind of connection to living in a place that has more water or spending more time around the water. I feel like Sag is going to have more free time, but they also can start planning their future. Can we see anything else for the future for Sag? We have a Four of Cups, something that Sag had almost given up on or thought it was, just a lost opportunity, or even something that they thought was an illusion. It's like, oh, it's so foolish that I would ever think that could be my life. And yet that's all coming back. This card looks more like the hand of the divine is saying, sweetheart, remember that thing you wanted, that dream that you had? It's still floating around up here. It's not an illusion. You just had to position yourself differently so you can maybe still access that. Now that dream, Sag still hasn't, they're still thinking of it as a lost cause, at least at the moment. So I think Sag had a lot of hopes pinned on whatever this sabotagey thing was. Maybe it was love. Maybe this was all about a romantic partner, and it was just like, oh my God, it was such a, it didn't turn out to be a love story. So yes, I'm away from that person. Yes, my life is flowing better. I'm happy again. But, as far as love goes, I'm sure that that's an illusion. I won't have a partnership in my life. I won't have a successful, marriage or whatever. And the universe, I would just say, is saying, I think you'll change your mind on that too. Let some time pass. First, just enjoy flowing with life. It's great to get back to yourself. Start picking the things that you want to do. Start imagining and, all the things that you want to plan for your future. Get passionate about the things that you put on the back burner or kind of forgot about during that time of misery. Just enjoy friendships right now. Enjoy the changes in your life and getting your life back and flowing again. But don't give up on any dream that you think was an illusion, because that's all things are possible when we shift gears. All we have to do is change a timeline, and then we have another opportunity at life. Things that we couldn't have had. Okay, I'll use this as an example. If you live in an area that, let's say, is like a desert or something, your life is different in the desert. I've lived in the desert and I loved it, but it was a very different life from living in an area where, we get feet of snow. And so everything was different. Like over time, I didn't even have any like warm clothes. I didn't need snow boots. I didn't need any of the things that I need living in, an area where there is snow. And so like geographically, like, you didn't need to worry about having chains if you're living in the desert, where you do need to worry about them in a snowy area. So those types of things are just matter of fact. Your life changes. The things that are possible change depending on the environment that you're in. And it's just kind of nice to see that Sag is living a whole different lifestyle, which means what's possible for them and the things that are now going to be a part of their world are things that maybe weren't possible before because of the environment Sag was in. So don't count any dream as like, oh, that'll never come true. It's like you weren't in the right environment for that dream to have come true. You had to move, whatever, to the desert in order to have these dreams come true. Or you had to move to, some different environment or change who you're dealing with for love to be a possibility. It wasn't possible in that other environment with that other person. So just kind of a nice shift. Annie S, thanks again, love. So Juanita, great to see you. G, hi, honey. And again, so great to see you, Christy. Buongiorno, my dear. The Classic Slasher, awesome to see you today. All right, you guys, lots of love. I will see you guys in the Ophiuchus video, and then we'll go live and we'll do some storytellings. All right, bye, guys. Take care.